Hello. My name is Marta Thorpe, and I am currently an undergraduate student here at the University of Guelph. I would like to welcome you to the College of Business and Economics Convocation ceremony this afternoon. The University of Guelph is honored by our graduates, and we take great pride in this convocation. I'd like to tell you a little about the proceedings today. The ceremonials used for conferring degrees has evolved over a millennium, and the gowns and hoods represent that history. In general, the gowns for the baccalaureate and magistrate degrees are black, and the color of the hood is different for each degree program. The doctorates at the University of Guelph have a bright blue gown, and the honorary degrees are red. The University of Guelph crest that you see on the curtains behind me and shown on the cover of your convocation program also represents a specific history. The emblems in the crest show links with the royal city of Guelph through the white stallion above, the connection to the liberal arts through the book, to the sciences through the astrolabe, and our connection to abundance and agriculture through the cornucopia. The University of Guelph motto, Rerum cognoscere causas, is a quote from the Virgil. It is variously translated to be either happy is the one who is able to ascertain the reason of things, or perhaps to know the meaning of things. The procession of people into the hall are also influenced by ancient tradition. The piper will herald the start of the procession of graduands, the students who are coming to graduate today. This will be followed by the arrival of the mace leading the platform party. The mace is a symbol of authority of the university and will be carried by the beadle. In medieval universities, a beadle was chosen by the instructor to work as an assistant. Today, the beadle is a ceremonial officer of Senate. Following the beadle and mace is the provost, members of administration and the honorees, fellows of the university, members of board and senate, and members of faculty and staff. The degrees will be conferred in the order that you see in your program. The degrees are separated by categories representing the specific degree being awarded by the college. We will begin with the doctorates and magistrates, followed by the baccalaureate degrees. The name reader will present scholars to the provost by degree category. As the name of each student is called by the beadle, she will place the hood over the recipient's shoulders. This moment will be videoed, and technology willing, there will be a simultaneous live cast of the event to allow family members and friends to watch from a distance. The provost will greet each student at the center of the stage, and a photograph will be taken. We understand the joy and excitement accompanying such an auspicious occasion, but we ask that you hold your applause until each group of graduates has crossed the stage. There will be an opportunity for a truly thunderous applause. Once all the degrees are conferred and all the cheers are cheered, the provost will close the ceremony and a recessional will play. Please remain standing during the recessional until all of the platform party has processed out of the hall. Our colleagues from Alumni Affairs are hosting a social media program developed especially for convocation. Please share your photos, memories, and advice with our graduating students by joining us on social media using the hashtag #GuelphGrad. Finally, may I be the first person to congratulate the graduands on their various successes and offer my congratulations to family and friends who are here to support them. Welcome to the convocation at the University of Guelph.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
On this day of celebrated accomplishment, we pause and reflect on our place in this world. Today we acknowledge the Attawandaron people, on whose traditional territory the University of Guelph now resides. And we offer our respects to the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Métis neighbors. On this day, that marks the end of a significant journey, we give thanks. We give thanks for the friendships that have been forged along the way. We give thanks for all those who have supported us, faculty, staff, mentors, and families. I invite you, each in your own way, to take a moment of silence, to reflect, to recognize that for which you are grateful. As we step into a new tomorrow, may the knowledge that we have gained here at the University of Guelph be coupled with wisdom and infused with compassion and clothed with humility, that we might contribute to the flourishing of all humanity, that we might embrace the forgotten, enhance the sustainability of all things, and fully discover together what it means to be human. May grace and peace abound. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, members of the board, honorary fellows and faculty at the university, family and friends, and most of all, graduands. I also extend a particular welcome to this afternoon's honorary degree recipient, Anthony von Mandel. Welcome to the celebration of convocation at the University of Guelph. My name is Charlotte Yates. I'm the Vice President Academic and Provost at the University of Guelph, and today I also have the honor of serving as Acting Vice Chancellor. I'm privileged to welcome you to your convocation. First off, graduates, this is your big day. Well done. Lots of hard work, many hours of study have gone into today, and seeing you here today tells us you have persevered and you have succeeded. Well done, well deserved, and congratulations. I have the privilege of offering you a few opening remarks. Think fast. It's an expression we've heard often. You don't often hear anyone tell you, think slow. But that's my main message today. You need to think fast and to think slow. It's a paradoxical message. Right now, thinking fast probably seems more pertinent to many of you graduates in the world you're about to enter. And this is in part because of the vast volume of information and change that we witness every day in the world. And this brings us to what I'll call the river of knowledge. At one time, we used to talk about a sea of knowledge. Now, we are navigating a river of knowledge, one that is growing larger and faster all the time. In 2013, shortly after many of you arrived here at the University of Guelph, the digital universe, that's all the data created and copied each year, amounted to about 4.4 zettabytes of information. How much information is that? Imagine the amount of memory that you could store in a stack of tablet computers reaching 2/3 of the way between Earth and the Moon. That is one heck of a lot of data. And we live in a world of big data, and big data does not stand still. The digital universe doubles in size roughly every 2 years. By the time today's incoming undergraduates finish their degrees in 2020, they will graduate into a digital universe expected to have grown tenfold to 44 zettabytes of information. That's to the moon and back. But what really matters is not just the volume of data, but the flow and the rate of flow that really matters. And this requires, in order for us to manage this, to have new ways of thinking. The shelf life of knowledge is decreasing. This means that we need to process more and new information in the same amount of time. We need to think faster and in new and different ways. Speaking as I am as a parent of university-age children, I believe, you graduates, that your minds are different from those of my generation, your parents, and your grandparents. I watch you absorb information and how you interact and manage information technology, and I'm awed by you. Many of my generation think, that's just so much distraction and lack of attention. But I think they're wrong. I believe that what we are seeing is that you have adapted to a fast-paced world of information. Your brains have evolved and adapted. You have learned to absorb lots of information, think fast, and adapt your responses. So too have organizations adapted to the new world of big data and fast-paced change. In fact, today we expect institutions to innovate and continuously evolve. From Apple to Facebook to General Electric, many of the world's top companies are innovators at heart. Since Apple introduced its first iPhone in 2007, the company has introduced 12 new models. That's a new model every 8 months or so. Like an improved heart monitor or even a vacuum cleaner, a new iPhone allows us to do the same things faster and more efficiently. Doing the same things faster and more efficiently, that's Innovation 1.0. To look ahead in an increasingly global and interconnected world, what we need now is Innovation 2.0. Innovation 2.0 recognizes that the problems we seek to solve are bigger and more complex, and that we need to think harder and longer about how to solve these problems and find the new opportunities therein. We need to change how we think. Innovation 2.0 requires us to balance two ways of thinking: reactive thinking and reflective thinking. Reactive thinking is what helps a driver negotiate the twists and turns of the road from moment to moment. Reflective thinking, or slow thinking, enables you to decide which road to take. Some university research produces quick wins focused on meeting a particular need or want. Other research and innovations come from slow thinking over the long term. Slow thinking usually involves teams of researchers, innovators, and students like yourself, each bringing your unique knowledge and skill sets to bear on solving that problem. Slow thinking opens the opportunity for us to solve some of the great challenges of our world, such as feeding the many people in our world. This fall, the University of Guelph received a federal government grant worth $77 million for a project intended to help feed our growing world population in sustainable ways. It's the largest single research investment made by the federal government to the University of Guelph, and it's intended to address a huge problem. If we think that the Earth will have 9 billion people, how on earth do we feed them, make sure that they have adequate food, and that we do it sustainably so that our Earth continues into the future? Our project, named Food from Thought, will look for ways to improve crop and animal production, enhance food safety and livestock health. We will figure out how to produce and distribute our food to the world's population. Meeting that challenge requires reactive thinking and reflective thinking. All of you graduates will be expected to use both reactive and reflective thinking as you navigate this new, data-rich, and fast-paced world. Some of you will do so from employment in existing businesses, nonprofits, and governments. Others of you will use your ideas and innovation to form your own businesses. Whichever way you decide and you end up going, as students of Guelph, you have benefited during the past few years from an environment that nurtures freedom of thought and expression and inquiry, an environment that promotes and supports openness to new ideas, one that invites varied perspectives on a problem. We've encouraged you to think in novel ways, to ask the right questions, not just give us the right answers. We've encouraged you to think in disciplined ways and in interdisciplinary ways. As with Food from Thought, big problems need lots of minds thinking together to come up with solutions. We need like minds, but also unlike minds from varied backgrounds and perspectives. There's a proverb that goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You're about to explore and discover the next phase of your lives. Go together, and remember to think fast and to think slow. Thank you.
Madam Provost, on the recommendation of the Senate of the University of Guelph, it is a profound honor to present to you the candidate, Anthony von Mandel, for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. As founder and CEO of Mark Anthony Group of Companies, proprietor of VMF Estates, chairman of Von Mandel Family Foundation, and a champion of the environment, Anthony von Mandel is a Canadian success story. He is an authentic visionary. He has helped make Canada a leader on the global wine and culinary stage. Mr. von Mandel is the proprietor of 4 prominent wineries in the Okanagan: Cedar Creek Estate Winery, Checkmate Artisanal Winery, Martin's Lane Winery, and the iconic Mission Hill Family Estate. With more than 180,000 visitors to his properties annually, he has not only created a high-end wine business in British Columbia, he has developed a substantial agro-tourism industry in the province, which now can boast 270 wineries that employ 10,000 people. Mission Hill's Grand Reserve Chardonnay won the Avery Trophy for the world's best Chardonnay in 1994 at the International Wine and Spirit Competition. It was a watershed moment for the winery itself, for the Okanagan, and absolutely for Canada. Mr. von Mandel's long-term vision and commitment to excellence paid off again in 2013, when Mission Hill Family Estate captured the world's attention and won accolades for producing the world's best Pinot Noir at the Decanter World Wine Awards, the most prestigious global wine competition. Mr. von Mandel is an officer of the Order of Canada and was named to the Order of British Columbia. Both honors recognize his contributions to enhancing Canada's international reputation as a world-class wine region. He is also renowned for his philanthropy and support of the visual and performing arts. To summon divinely balanced wine and extraordinary cuisine from the terroir of the Okanagan takes passion, dedication, tenacity, and a sustained commitment to continuous innovation, all qualities demonstrated by Anthony von Mandel. Madam Provost, it is my profound honor to request that you confer upon Anthony von Mandel the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By the authority of the Senate of the University of Guelph, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It is now my great pleasure to ask Dr. Anthony von Mandel to now give us the convocation address.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita Stewart, the University of Guelph's first food laureate, and I believe the only such in the world, for being the champion of this great honor and your generous introduction. I cannot begin to tell you how astonished and humbled I was to receive a letter this summer from Dr. Franco Vaccarino, President and Vice Chancellor, informing me of the Senate's decision to bestow this honor on me, and I'm incredibly grateful. I want to express my gratitude to the University of Guelph and acknowledge Madam Provost, the governors, Dean Godfrey, faculty, and of course, our graduates and guests today. To the graduates, my heartfelt congratulations. What a significant accomplishment and personal milestone. Truly a proud day for you, your families, and friends who have supported you on your journey. It's a real privilege to be able to address you today, and as you leave here today on the next chapter in your life, I thought it might be helpful to share some of my learnings. And let me begin by saying, I believe that dreams can come true. Your visions realized, and that each and every one of you has the ability to accomplish things in your life far beyond your wildest expectations. But you need a dream, and mine was outrageous. Mission Hill Family Estate, to build one of the world's 10 most recognized wineries in the Okanagan Valley in Canada, a region and a country not even thought of as a wine producer back in, as I graduated at 22 with an economics degree. I had no idea that in the pursuit of that vision, I would end up creating from the ground up, without outside financing or partners, a business with annual sales of over 600 million, and one that would enable me to pioneer a new wine region. So when I graduated, I didn't have a penny to my name, but I did have a lot of student loans. Maybe you're in the same situation. I started, as I mentioned, at 22, and the lowest rent I could find at the time was in Vancouver, was an office. The rent was $29.95 a month. It was a 10 by 10 office. I went to a garage sale, had a desk. That's how it started. And from there, it was a series of dead ends. Basically, I had a fascination with wine. I had apprenticed briefly in the wine business in Europe, and I, with no experience and no understanding of the market, called on liquor boards, who were the gatekeepers at the time, the only retailer, the only customer you could have, and the door was closed. It was a club, private club at the time. Relationships, they certainly didn't want me in there. So I was basically out of business before I started, and in desperation I looked around for anyone that could purchase wines without having to go through a liquor board, and found that airlines could. And what I did was simply bring better value, better quality, designed a label for them, ended up supplying the 3 national airlines across Canada at the time, and that kept me in business. Things went forward. It was 8.5 years before I could realize the dream of my own winery, and along the way, the rug was pulled out from me time and time again. I hit roadblocks, such as the wines I was importing eventually started to be very successful. Liquor boards actually listed me. Well, the giants of the industry at the time were large distillers, went behind my back, went to people I thought were personal friends of mine. I stayed at their homes, and I didn't realize for them it was all business. They could have our little Mark Anthony wine merchants with 3 employees, or they could have a distiller with 100 or 200 salespeople. So it was pretty clear. But by creating my own brands and things and quality and products that no one could take away, we became really successful. So by the age of 30, 31, I went out. There were 5 wineries in the Okanagan. There was one that was almost bankrupt. It's the only one I could afford. And borrowed everything I could and purchased this rundown winery called Golden Valley. Now, everything would have been fine except a year later, there was an economic crisis, and of course it was heavily levered. I was paying 25% interest. You can imagine in the context of paying 25% interest, and the banks shut down basically in Western Canada. I was out of business. 1982, I was out of business, effectively. Then I came up with an idea. The company that we bought, Golden Valley, had made some apple cider, and it was particularly bad, and the label looked like a tomato. And I thought, well, I went to school as a boy in Switzerland. Why don't I bring in some experts, and let's just use Swiss designers. And we created the world's first flavored ciders, innovated. Nobody had made a cherry, a peach, all these flavors. And guess what? From 18,000 cases, Golden Valley, we went to 100, 200, 300,000 cases of cider, tripled the market, the whole market, and were able to survive. That's kind of how things looked pretty good, except for one thing. 4 years later, the big brewers in Canada, who were all using a brown stubby beer bottle, they all used the same bottle that we used, we bought new glass, decided for competitive reasons they each wanted to have their own bottle. And so they basically were going to scrap the bottle float, the recycled bottles of these brown stubbies. Unbeknownst to me, because we couldn't wash bottles, they had kept track of each and every bottle I'd put in, and they would only pay 5 cents for deposit to get this glass back, a lot less than it would have cost them to buy new glass. And I got a bill for $2.8 million and said, where would you like your bottles delivered? They weren't my bottles, they were the bottles that had gone through the system 49 times, and they were completely bashed up. Well, I quickly phoned up Red Stripe Brewery, who used the same bottle. Now you're maybe more familiar with it, and managed to sell them about 2 or 3 containers until they figured out the quality of the glass, and that was it from them. And I recall driving around Stanley Park in Vancouver, and there's a place, if you go high enough, it's called Prospect Point. If you jump, no pain. So on the way, I thought, well, I could spray paint the bottles, I could cover them up, because I figured the way out was to try and sell them into the US. Not the bottles, but something in it. Well, Americans didn't know what cider was at the time, but they did drink a lot of Canadian beer. So I found the only independent brewer up in Prince George, went to them and asked them if whether they'd fill these with beer for us, went to Safeway, one of the big US retail outlet stores, and said, how would you like your own private label brand of Canadian beer? You can undercut everybody, you're going to have a competitive advantage. This is a great idea, but I didn't dare tell them what the bottles would look like. That's why I was driving around Stanley Park and thinking about what the consequences could be, and thinking about maybe I could spray paint them, or all impossible. And then I came up with the idea. Created a brand called Clark's Great Canadian Beer, in the way they say it in America, genuine, rugged Canadian bottles. And guess what? We sold all the bottles, stayed in business, and basically was one of the key learnings of my life I wanted to share with that. And that's when you hit a roadblock, innovate. create something different, invent something. It's absolutely critical to be able to do that. And we went forward and created all kinds of ready-to-drink businesses, all to try and finance the winery. And we didn't even own vineyards at the time. And then in 1996, I came up with this idea that Canadians might like to drink an alcoholic lemonade. Basically, guys in Canada had to drink beer. And I realized a quarter of them maybe didn't want to drink beer, so came up with an alcoholic lemonade, called it Mike's Hard Lemonade. Maybe some of you know it. And overnight, there were fist fights in LCBO stores, fist fights of guys trying to get cases of this. And we created an entirely new beverage category, spirit coolers. Nobody had ever done that before. And of course, immediately the big companies, the Smirnoff, Diageo, and Bacardi, and the brewers, everybody piled in after us. And on April 1st, 1999, April Fool's Day, of course that's when Mike would launch, we launched in America, in New England. We thought we'd sell 300,000 cases with no advertising, with just putting the product in New England, we sold 2 million cases. Now that is a lot of anything, and certainly was a lot of Mike's. It looked like we were going to go phenomenally well, this is going to be a huge success, but we needed 600 distributors across Canada, because these beer distributors all have counties. Well, guess what? We got this flyer that Seagram's, at the time, were going to come up with a copycat product called Rick's Spike Lemonade. And they could call it Rick's or Joe's or just about anything else, but they copied our package. And so I went to New York and I went to these IP law firms, and I went around, and of 14 firms that were the top litigators in intellectual property, 8 of them were blocked because Seagram's owned Universal Music and they had all these subsidiaries, and they couldn't take us on. And our own law firm was blocked because they handled Seagram's internationally. And I remember at 8 in the morning, I was sitting opposite the UN building with our lawyer, Susan Douglas, still our lawyer down there, who handles our registrations. And she said, look, have you seen Debevoise and Plimpton? And I said, who are they? She says, well, they're the top litigation firm. Because every firm I'd seen said, you can't win this case. It could call you millions of dollars, which I didn't have. But you can't stop them from going the business. And so she phoned Debevoise and Plimpton, and the 2 senior lawyers she said, I'm terribly sorry, they're in meetings, but I left her cell number. And I started to walk back to the hotel, which would have taken me about an hour, figuring I might not have the money next time to pay for a cab. And the phone rang, and it was, Debevoise and Plimpton will come and see you. I went in and I heard, and this is where you need some luck, I learned a year later, the only reason they saw me is they were in a meeting, they got the scribble, and they thought, my company's name is Mark Anthony Wine Merchants, Mark Anthony Group, they thought I was the singer Mark Anthony. So, sometimes you need luck. They saw me and said, this will be this is a David versus Goliath case. We went to court and we stopped them 10 days into their launch. It's the first time it's ever happened in the beverage industry in America. And we went on, and I'm incredibly proud to say as a Canadian company, we fought off all the competition. Everybody tried to throw us out of the market. The largest brewers, distillers in the world were number 1 in the market, and we created the new category in the market. What's significant about this is that business, and by the way, back in Canada, competitors were undercutting Mike's with price brands. We had to reinvent ourselves. We created a product called Palm Bay, the first product to be in cans, and a completely different form of refreshment, took the market. We ended up with, last year we were 43% of market share in Canada of the ready-to-drink business. But we were blocked from going essentially into Quebec grocery stores. We were blocked from going into the beer stores in Ontario. So in January, we did sell to ABI. We sold the Canadian business, but that was only a small part of our overall business, only 18% of our business. We kept America and have put all the resources behind that. And again, what we did in the meantime is we started really putting technology into our wineries and our vineyards. This is all about tenacity. It's about having a dream and to never let anybody take your dream away from you. Guard your dream with your life. And realize it only takes a dream realized to do something others thought were impossible. The reason I had to self-finance and created this business, the wine side of our business is the heart. It's the soul of our business. In terms of sales and volume, it's our U.S. business driven out of Chicago. But the soul are our vineyards and our wineries, and that's where I spend my time, and that's what I'm devoted to. But the whole way we were able, the reason we had to do that is nobody believed in my dream when I started. There was, the wine produced in the Okanagan at the time was awful, was terrible. They didn't have the right kind of grapes, so they weren't vinifera. Basically, I had no option but to self-finance. So it's again one of those things when you're painted in a corner, a small team not only can make a difference, but a small team with a dream, with tenacity, with creative and boldness, changes the world, and there's absolutely no reason that it can't be you. Now, my very, very best wishes for your future. And I think a couple of things. Remember, those of you that go out there, competitors will throw things at you. And every day you wake up at any time, they'll throw things at you, and the time to worry is when they don't. Because when you wake up one day and they don't fully expect, you've got problems. And very importantly, realize it's not all about making money. It's about making a difference. Because I believe that making money is the byproduct of doing something you really love and you're incredibly good at. And plan to leave a legacy, something that outlasts you, so your life can leave a lasting impression and make an impact. The Okanagan Valley itself has gone from 5 wineries to close to 270 today, employing 10,000 people in what is a $2 billion business. That's personally incredibly fulfilling for me. My very best to the graduates today, to all of you in your future, and thank you to the University of Guelph for this opportunity to address you and this very great honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Van Mandel, for a fantastic convocation address. Well, graduates, now is the time you have been waiting for. Will the graduate class please rise? Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph that they be admitted to their various and several degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will members of the graduating class please be seated?
Good afternoon, graduates and proud family members of the graduates. I'm sure you'll be excited, perhaps a little relieved, certainly happy to see your graduate appear on stage and be greeted by our provost. And you may want to express your emotions in some audible manner. This is fine, please go ahead. But may we ask that the general audience hold your collective applause until after the presentation of each of the degree programs, and we will provide your cue. Thank you. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Business and Economics, that they may be admitted to the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Elmir Aliak Bari. Rita Hansen Stern. Anastasios Papanastiu. Kimberly Merlin Thomas Francois. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our Doctor of Philosophy graduates. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Business and Economics that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Arts. Erica Patricia Alvarez. Richard Darko. Stephen Thompson Elliott. Kyle Governor. Lin Xiao Hong. Shawana Khan. Justin Alexander Kowalczyk. Menki Liu. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Business and Economics that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Arts, Leadership. Aaron Archibald. Brenda Francis Berman. Sonia Anna Christofferson. Thomas Kober. Michelle Cote. Simone DeVrent. Barry Dolan. Cindy Teresa Dribnecki. George Peter Dribnecki. Leanna Duckworth. Stanley Danacody Gabrielle. Donette Grant Anderson. Jennifer Mary King. Allison Marie Marcolini. Wendy Gale Morley. Heather Power. Lorinda Wall. Susan Wall. Angela Willard. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Business and Economics, that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Business Administration. Harold Bauman. Megan Cameron. Julia Carter. Ashley Kurian. Michael Estepa. Melissa Halloran. Megan Hawkins. Sandy Hong. Gori Korana. Anna Marie Kupiek. Matthew Richard Langford. Christopher Mark Lee. Mark Lumley. Candace McKenzie. Akash Mahajan. Nakiba Modas. Isaac Kevin Murphy. Julie Nuska. Mark Park. Daniel Sparrow. Jeffrey Kwan. Go ahead. Maytab Taki. Maria Kathleen Stanchu. Gregory Wayne Tremble. Gustavo Ustares. Mona Naola Walters. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Business and Economics that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Science. Andrew Harden. Leila Kamal Abiyane. Nok Pham. Ladies and gentlemen, please help congratulate our magisterial graduates.
Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you this scholar from the College of Business and Economics that he may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours Program. Nicholas John Sprypek. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you this scholar from the College of Business and Economics, these scholars, pardon, from the College of Business and Economics, that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honours Program. Niels Blackwell with distinction. Daniel David Brennan. Nicholas Brummer. Siton Chen with distinction. Devin Cressman. Varun Dalwar. Elliot Andrew Dawson. Rubal Kwar Dillon. Jeffrey Dobas. Michael Robert Fleming. Sean Fulham.
Thanks, Dad.
Deasia Gavar. Justin Gockel. F. Timeo Georgakakis. Rashid Gosi. Nurshan Gananasundran. Daniel Joshua Shalom Goldberg. Michael Halleck. Jeremy Hayden. Haley Jana Holm, with distinction.
That's my sister!
Tabitha Jayaratnam. Laura Jessie Kent. Jared Haviz Khan.
Yeah, Gerard, that's my son. My wife told me so.
Martin Vincent Kudla. Maxwell Donald Dodge Langridge, with distinction. Daniel Mickey Lee. Paula Elaine Leon. Janelle Marie Chu Leong. Gregory William Lindo. No. Mengjia Lo. Victoria Marshall. Colin Martin. Karen Nicole Meltretter. Paulo Souza Mendes, with distinction. Ajmal Muhammad. Nicholas Taibao Nguyen. Patrick Laird O'Brien. Bao Yi Peng. Kevin Pietrobon with distinction. Michael Howard Reed. David James Willard Richardson. Miguel Rosa. Daniela Sanant. Stephen Sakarachia. Rachel Isabella Stewart Shaw with distinction. Thank you. Carly Sarah Sugar. Sean Thanajay Thambaratnam. Imran Udin. Sam Waldman with distinction. Justin David C.M. Watson. Alexander David Wiedrick. Sean Michael Williamson. Kofi Yaboa. Michelle Frances Lucia Separeri. Wei Chun Zhao. Shan Zhao. Madam Provost, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the School of Hospitality, Food and Tourism Management that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honours Program. Scott Ryan Ackerman. Elizabeth Ball. Junho Guo. Xiaoshu Yu. Congratulations, graduates.
Madam Provost, I would ask you to confer the various and several degrees on the graduates listed in the program but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduands not present. Well, graduates, you did it. Congratulations. And if I may, congratulations and thank you to all the family, friends, and parents who are here, grandparents, brothers, sisters. You've all made this day possible. I know how important it is to have that support going through your degree. I also want to welcome all of you to the Griffin family, a growing family. Today, close to 1,000 new graduates are joining this family, and the University of Guelph alumni now number over 125,000 worldwide. And it's amazing how you'll go on a train, meet someone in a meeting, and amazingly, they will be a Griffin, and you will share some of this experience with them. We are very proud of your accomplishments here at the University of Guelph, and we look forward to hearing how the foundations you have developed over these last few years support you in the future. We want to join with you and celebrate in your future successes and achievements, and we hope that you will stay in touch with us. Remember that the University of Guelph campus will always welcome you and be a home to you. Graduates, you've made memories here, hopefully some additional ones today. Remember this, you are a student for a very short number of years, but you are a Griffin forever. This concludes our formal convocation ceremony. Immediately following this ceremony, Acting Dean Carrie Godfrey will host a tea for all the graduates and their guests in Creelman Hall. I'd encourage you to go, show your parents, friends, let them see Creelman Hall, perhaps the last time for a few weeks for you, and celebrate your wonderful achievement. We hope you can attend this ceremony. Graduates, once you've taken all your photographs, would you please return your hoods and your gowns to the tent outside? And if I could ask you, we have 2 more graduations happening today. If I could ask you to leave either on the right or the left, prepare to leave the hall so that the next group of graduates and their family can get ready for the next ceremony. Again, congratulations, thank you, and convocation is now dismissed.